Simplicity is a prerequisite to reliability. Edsger Dijkstra. My friends, each and every day we keep it simple, and we only ask for 10 to 15 minutes to learn how to master these charts. Let's jump into everything. Everything's up today except gold, pulling back a little bit. Let's jump first into the S&P 500, as we almost always do, ticking up a little higher, 0.12%. So as we look at this week, we are already at average volume, which is beautiful, with another day still to go in the markets. We see that we've reached a higher high over the course of the week. We see where things peaked up in the morning on the half-day chart, pulled back a little bit in the afternoon. Volume also slowed, and that red volume doesn't mean negative. It means that the afternoon candle opened lower than the prior close. And of course, as we look, we see the two-day chart, which is the Wednesday, Thursday. It closed, didn't quite hit average volume. But again, the big one we look at over and over again is that weekly chart, because that's what we actually trade off of. We do big charts for big money. And of course, since the end of April, this market has just rocketed up. We had a green spinning top back on the 28th of July, the week beginning that Monday. And the week beginning Tuesday after the holiday, the 2nd of September, we had a doji that week, but then things took off again and they just keep clicking up. Hope you've been long with us this whole time. What are we seeing with the Qs? And again, my friends, I talk about how things have just continued to go up, always with the caveat that at some point this is going to break. Remember when things broke before? Back in February of this year, the end of February, we have catalysts that affect the market, and then it can bottom fast and hard. And all this move up you can lose in the course of just a few weeks, hopefully not a few days, possible, hopefully not. But we want to be ready to lock in our profits in our practice trades when this market stops. And in fact, even jump into an inverse fund and write it down. That's the thing that we talk about, is learning, becoming a little bit sophisticated in your outlooks. You're not worried about down times. You're worried about knowing what's going on so you can write out the good and the bad and profit whichever way the market goes. Let's look at the Qs now. Qs have reached a higher high this week, just like the S&P popped up this morning. Beautiful. Although we haven't seen average volume this week past Monday afternoon. Again, the volume on the Qs has been lower. We can see on the 2-day. And the weekly is almost up to average volume. Should hit it tomorrow easily. And again, stair steps the last 4 weeks, just moving up. After 3 trying weeks where we had doji, and then a red doji, and then things took off again. So we're still long the Qs. What about 20-year U.S. government bonds? They are up a little bit for the day, 0.27%. Again, this is a very odd time for 20-year U.S. government bonds. We had 2 weeks of decent up move, particularly one. That was the week of beginning September the 8th. Following week, a green candle, small, did go up a little bit higher, but then last week, a red doji, just really bizarre. This week, trying to move up a little more. Let's make sure that line's set correctly. And we are already at average volume, above average volume on the 2-day, but again, not a candle that helps us out a lot. It's a green spinning top. It's hard to tell. We are above the weekly trend line, but that's almost a horizontal line, so it's not that helpful. Of course, we had a day and a half of down movement. We do have today of a little bit of up movement. We don't have a trade on this one. We'll wait to see what bonds do and how they straighten themselves out. Gold, it has just been on fire. Pulling back a little bit today. A lot of ranging in the morning, pulling down a little in the afternoon, only 0.35%. We've seen gold pull back in this run up a couple of times, a few times too. So we'll just continue to wait, watch, and see. But we are still strongly long on gold. What about Bitcoin? Bitcoin up right at 3% today. We have seen Bitcoin take off We started the week on Monday, bounding up. Tuesday, settling out. Wednesday, bounding up. Thursday, bounding up. Pushed through. Back on Wednesday, the weekly trend line. And again, I don't even know how to call that. We don't even have a trend line to speak of. We have 2 weeks. And then last week where it moved down, well, we're pushing back up through that, which is good to see. Look at all the volume over the last 6 days. Of course, of those 6 days, 2 of them were down. But again, Bitcoin moving in the right direction. We do the math on Bitcoin as far as our 5-day plus trading analysis and execution plan. We've got okay directional probability. The backtest accuracy is more than a coin toss, but nothing to write home about. So we'll continue to keep our eye on Bitcoin as our 5-day plus trading analysis and execution plan gives us long aspirations. That is where we are, folks, as we end the day. One more trading day. By the way, Patreon members, don't forget, you will have in your email and on your Patreon page, you will have your weekly vertical crossovers as well as the October 3 5-day plus ETF trading analysis and execution plan, as well as a trade execution summary grid where we list the directional probability and percentages, entry exit points, expected move in dollars, and the backtest accuracy on the S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, 20-year bonds, gold, and Bitcoin, the Bitcoin ETF, HODL. God bless, all the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth.